Welcome to another episode of Chiefs Wire TV. I'm Easton Jr. On this week's episode, we're breaking down the first week of training camp for the Chiefs. Our very own Wesley and Nick Roesch are on hand at training camp, giving us the lowdown on what they see so far.
All right, so I'm Wesley Roesch, former managing editor of Chiefs Wire. This is Nicholas Roesch, who will write periodically for Chiefs Wire, and we just went to camp today, and it was exciting. It was very rainy. As you can see, my hair is all kinds of messed up. We pretty much drenched and forgot our umbrellas, so that was fun.
Wesley, Nick, thank you as always for your time, and let's jump right into it. Who stood out so far during your visit to training camp?
What do you think?
Offensively, who comes to mind was probably Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just because they focused on the running game a lot. They did a lot of running game, short passes, a lot of the short game today. So Clyde got in some work. Darryl got in a lot of work too. I think Clyde looked pretty good. He looks healthy, running through the holes. Caught a lot of swing passes, screens. So
yeah, it was a lot on the short game, like you said, and I think I was paying mostly attention to the offensive line, so my analysis on that will probably be the offensive line stood out the most. I definitely liked a lot of the blocks that they were throwing. I think Jeff Schwartz had posted it on Twitter, but they did like the guard and tackle swing to the right, which was kind of cool. But I definitely saw some nice blocks from Trey Smith in the run game especially. He was just like pounding guys. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
yeah, Trey Smith's a standout. He just has a presence about him. He's a big guy. He's athletic, and it's going to be the steal of the draft, in my opinion, hopefully.
Yeah, and speaking of offense, I do remember, not really a standout, but I remember I heard Cornell Powell get chewed out for a minute by Coach Bieniemy, and anybody who's ever been to camp knows you can hear Coach Bieniemy from the other side of training camp pretty much. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty funny, but I'm sure that happens a lot to the rookies, so not too surprising, I'm sure.
Who had the play of the day this past Saturday?
Did Tyreek Hill have a catch, like a pretty cool catch?
Yeah, and it was on a really insane throw from Mahomes, his patented sidearm.
Yeah, I think if you search around a little bit on Twitter, you can find the video.
Yeah, because like we said, there wasn't a whole lot of intermediate to deep stuff at all today. It was a lot of short, so the eye-popping highlights were pretty scarce, but there were a couple nice receptions from Tyreek and Mahomes slinging it. Yeah,
and remember there were two really good passes from Pat to Mecole Hardman. Remember that over the shoulder catch that it went straight through Thornhill kind of went for the bat, and it just went straight through, and Hardman took it over the shoulder, and it was really nice, and he did a little bit of celebration Hulk Hogan afterwards, which was kind of cool.
That was probably the deepest ball of the day. That throw to Hardman.
Yeah, that one definitely got the crowd rolling. So pretty cool to see that from Hardman. I mean, I know that there's a lot of eyes on him this year. So he did have a drop pass, him and Demarcus Robinson, but I think Hardman did kind of recover with some cool catches later on.
Yeah.
Were there any non-starters that stuck out to you during team drills or individual?
Nick's gonna laugh at me, but my guy Jody Fortson was all over the place. If you know, he lines up as tight end and receiver, so he's technically working with the tight ends. He's 6'6", but he runs like a receiver, man. He's freaking fast, and he just had a lot of good catches, a lot of looks, and I don't know how great his blocking is, but I feel like if he at least has a little bit of blocking potential, then he could actually make the team just based on his size and receiving ability and stuff.
No, I'm with you. Jody Fortson did stand out a little bit. I'm not sure if he's going to make the team. That's why
I want him to make the team, okay?
But he's he definitely grabs your eyes. He's a physical specimen, tall guy. He can run, and they involved him a lot. They threw the ball his way a lot. Another guy for me would have probably been Mike Hughes, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is
cornerback, Mike.
Yeah, He's getting a lot of reps as that number 2 outside corner, and he made a few plays a couple times on Tyreek. He had a batted ball down, so yeah, that would be a welcome addition if he could come in and just be solid on the outside.
Yeah, for sure.
What is your initial impression to the offensive line, especially with all the changes and everything this past offseason?
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, the offensive line, I was really impressed with Trey Smith. I tried to watch Lucas Niang a lot since he was lining up with the ones at right tackle, I think because Remmers was out with back spasms. And Niang, I mean, I thought he had some good moments. I do remember on that one play you were talking about with Pat Mahomes, throwing it to Tyreek Hill, he let Chris Jones through pretty strong, which like is bad, but also it's Chris Jones. So,
yeah,
you know.
Right. Yeah. Man, I'm ecstatic about the offensive line. It's just a different collection of guys. I think there's good times ahead with the new offensive line.
Yeah, I think that, as I was telling him at camp, but like the further you get down on the depth chart, the more like the disparity is, but like the talent level of the defensive line and the offensive line. I think naturally on this team, and probably most teams in the NFL, the defensive line is deeper than the offensive line. So you're going to see like the backup O lines probably struggle a little bit more, like in preseason and stuff. But I think for the most part, the offensive line is pretty deep, and I think our starting guys were holding up really well against our ones on our first string defensive line, which I mean is really good. I mean, all you know the guys that are on our defensive line, they're really good, and so the fact that they were like holding their own, I didn't really see Mahomes get a whole lot of get pressured very much during the day. So I don't know. I think it's pretty encouraging.
Hey guys, were there any extra precautions at the training camp site this year, considering everything that's been going on with the COVID surges and just making sure people are safe having fans back?
Not that I noticed. It was a packed house Saturday. So they have that new hill on the opposite side of the original hill, and that was a welcome addition because if not, it would have been just shoulder to shoulder packed. But not that I noticed. I mean, obviously there's no autographs, so.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a handful of people wearing masks, but like people were so spread out that it was kind of nice. I mean, yeah, you had the people like sitting in the bleachers and stuff, but yeah, like that extra hill definitely made it to where people were a lot more spread out than what it normally is. And we hung out up on the new hill the whole time, and it was a great view. So, and
they still had all the games and stuff for kids and everything and concessions. So
yeah,
it was pretty normal, I would say.
I don't know if it was just because it was like a $5 day or not, but there were definitely more concession stands than I normally see, and like spots that I'd never normally like saw them before. So it was pretty cool overall.
And lastly, guys, did you notice anything between like maybe a player and a coach that seemed very one-on-one-ish that is worth reporting or noting?
Can't say that I really...
I guess I didn't really pay attention. I mean, I remember Kelsey did a few individual drills before he went back to the tent. So I think he was just trying to get some work in since he's still kind of hurt from a couple days ago. I did see Fenton... with a coach, but it wasn't really work as much as it was just like talk. So I don't know if maybe he was hurt or if they were just talking to him about some stuff. I didn't see Chris Jones line up at defensive tackle at all. The whole day I saw him line up on edge, and he was good. I mean, he was fast. He seems like he's dropped just a little bit of weight, and he seems quick. He did get a few. He did get some pressure, as I mentioned earlier. So he switched side like every play. Like he was on the left side, next play he went to the right, vice versa. He just kept switching. So I really think Spags is just trying to get him used to being on the edge, and I definitely think we're going to see him there a lot more this year.
Yeah, I think we haven't mentioned Juan Thornhill, I don't think. He was in on a couple plays. He had a dropped interception on a pass from Mahomes. Just dropped it, but he was he was in on the mix a lot. He
Yeah.
was that deep ball to McCole Hardman. It went right through Juan Thornhill's hands, which was probably more due to Mahomes being awesome than anything. But
Yeah.
Juan Thornhill looks sharp. He looks healthy. I know in previous days at camp, people have noticed how quick and healthy he looks, and he was looking good today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Juan, he definitely looked fast, so I think it looks like his recovery is probably close to 100% just by the way he was moving. So, well, that's it. Thanks for having us.
Another special thanks to Nick and Wesley Roesch for giving us everything that happened at training camp from their visit. And make sure to keep up with us on ChiefsWire.com as well as at The Chiefs Wire on Twitter as we give the latest updates on what's going on from camp. I'm Easton Jr. Check us out next time.